even if you're a woman. And yes, I know you need to look presentable at work. Yes, I know it makes you feel cute, and we love that for us, and you can definitely do all of those things, but you really, a bag. If it cannot fit a bag, it's too much.
Hey there, my handsome and pretty little cobras, and welcome back to the Cobra's Nest. For those of you who are new, my name is Mignon Cobra, and I make videos on money and minimalism. So today's video is going to be how to reach your first 100K, a brutal advice. So this is what worked for me. Hopefully it can inspire you, give you some ideas, motivate you, and at the very least, just entertain you. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. Please seek your own financial advisor for financial advice. These are just tips and tricks, and at the very least, fun entertainment. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. Let's get it, let's go. Woo! So number one, you're going to have to be frugal. You're going to have to be cheap AF. Now, obviously, there's a nuance to all of these. Somebody in the comments will be like,
no, you gotta make money, you gotta spend money to make money.
I'm sure that is true for other people, but I have found in my own personal experience and from the countless books that I've read, plus the people I got this from, like this tip, yeah, you're not gonna have any money if you spend all your money. And I used to have this misconception, which is why I used to love buying luxury stuff. I thought that you could still spend a lot of money if you made a lot of money. The only problem with that is everything is a percentage. So like say you make $100 and you spend like 90 of it, it doesn't matter if you do 200 and then you spend like 190. Like it's just percents. Like if you make a lot and you spend a lot and you don't keep much, nothing gets done. You go nowhere. So you have to be frugal, and everyone's frugal and everyone's cheap is different. And if you feel like I'm in no place to talk about this, some of the people I got this from, or one of the person that I got this from that like really drove home this, is like Alex Hermosi. Have you seen what that man wears? He wears the same thing over and over again, and he's very wealthy. You can be frugal regardless of your income level. And I know it's really difficult to be frugal when you don't make a lot. Being frugal when you don't make a lot is the reason why people get stuck financially. I don't want to say poverty, that's not the right word, but when you feel broke, you just feel like you want to buy nice things. And I totally get it. I had this problem when I was a broke student. I really wanted to buy nice things, and then when I finally got big girl money, that's the first thing I did. I went and I bought expensive things. So I know exactly how difficult it is. But let me tell you, somebody who's been on both ends of the spectrum, both broke as hell and very comfortable, you need to be frugal. Figure out what is the right amount of frugal without going insane. You don't need to buy the most expensive thing on the menu, but at the same time, you don't need to be cheap. But it's okay to be cheap. It's okay to have seasons of cheap. Like you can have a season of being cheap. I was cheap for a period of time to the point where it was like kind of embarrassing. I've made countless videos of embarrassing cheap things that I've done, but it paid off. And so it's just, you just gotta ask yourself, what's the end goal? Are you trying to be financially savvy? Okay, coming in at number 2, you're gonna have to increase your income. When I was like being really frugal, I thought I could like save my way to wealth. Unfortunately, at some point in time, you're gonna have to increase your income. When I was a student, I was working part-time. It was a lot harder to save on a student income than it is on like a full-time working salary. Maybe pick up a side hustle. I know everyone's like, oh, side hustles. I'm not a fan of hustle culture either. I'm not a fan of getting a side hustle, but the idea is figure out a way to increase your income. That's going to be different for everyone. Maybe a side hustle, maybe a job promotion, maybe a career change. But figuring out a way to increase your income is going to help alleviate a lot of financial strain because there's only so much you can save. But technically, there's no limit to how much you can earn. Okay, coming in at number 3. So reading inspiring content. Sometimes it's really difficult to imagine a future of wealth when you're broke. Because when you look at your bank account, there's no evidence that you can be wealthy. Easy to emulate when there's a lot of examples around you, but when you don't have examples around you, it is so difficult. So what you can do is the closest way and the cheapest way and the fastest way to get in proximity is to read books. People have given you their life's blueprint. What took them 20, 15, 30, a lifetime years to do, you can pick it up and absorb it in a day or two of reading their book. They also will not judge you. Sometimes it's difficult to talk about wealth with people around you because it's such a sensitive topic. So sometimes reading books is the way to go. Some popular books that I've read that really like dramatically changed my life, they are a little controversial, but if you don't know where to start somewhere. I love Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Millionaire Next Door, and the blog. I don't think if he has a book, but maybe he does, but Mr. Money Stash. I absolutely love their work. Everything you must take with a grain of salt. You must learn in nuance. It's not Bible, it's just inspiration. Okay, coming in at number 4. Most millionaires did it themselves. I got this from The Millionaire Next Door. The majority of millionaires, I think like 80%, made it themselves. That's very motivating. I used to think it was the other way around. I thought most rich people came from wealth. That apparently statistically is not the case, and that's very inspiring. And if you want to feel sorry for yourself and be a victim and be like, well, it takes money to make money, or if you're born into wealth, it's so much easier, that's not going to really serve you. Didn't serve me. I could sit there and cry and boohoo. There's always going to be wealthier people than you. However, you can always do a little bit better for yourself financially. And that's what I set out to do. I was like, I just want to do a little bit better than my current situation. I want to make the most of my money. I don't think I'm going to be earning millions and bajillions of dollars forever. So let's be efficient with what we have made. Okay, coming in at number 5, stop turning your cash into trash. I actually got this from a YouTuber. I've lost the video. It's been like years. I want to say I found this video in 2020, but it was really, really nice. He gave this analogy of how he realized he needed to stop being bad with money. He was like, when you go to Chuck E. Cheese, you trade in your tickets for like toys. And that was a metaphor for how we take our money and we turn it into trash, like we buy material possessions. And he's absolutely correct. Figuring out a way to stop or make it more difficult to turn your cash into trash will be really, really, really useful. I learned this the hard way. I'd been a minimalist for so long. I got in my head this idea that like maybe I should enjoy material possessions. Like, why am I denying myself material abundance? So I went crazy. I went shopping all the time in these most recent years when I had been a minimalist for nearly 10 years. And I realized what they'd already been telling me. And that's the thing. Sometimes we don't learn the lesson until we learn it ourselves. All of those things that I bought, like, I don't even know, like this vase, beautiful. She's very beautiful. But she doesn't wake up at like 8 in the morning and go make money and pay my rent. I do. And I spent money to buy this vase and now it just sits there. It does look good in the video, but like, you know what I mean? Hopefully you can figure out what is your trash so you stop turning your cash into trash, because it's obviously different for everyone. I'm not going to sit here and shame anybody and be like, stop buying so many plates, stop buying so many cups, stop buying so many Stanley cups. I have no idea what is your thing, but figure that out. Okay, coming in at number 6, wear the same outfit every single day. And you can see this in successful people. Like if you feel like you can't see their bank account, you can see the symptoms. A great example of that is the Apple guy. But he's always wearing like the black turtleneck with the jeans, and he did that for like almost 30 years. Look at Alex Hormozy. That man's been wearing Crocs, cut jeans, and the little white beater that says like acquisition.com. Almost all of your favorite successful people wear a uniform, and it's not by accident, it's on purpose. The reason for wearing the same outfit every single day is so you can use your mental faculties to do something a little bit more meaningful. However, if you feel like it's your life's purpose to wear a different outfit every single day, go for it. No one's shaming you for that. But if you wanted brutal advice, you wanted like, I want to hardcore elevate myself to the next level as fast as humanly possible, wear the same thing every day. Like not the same like shirt, like wash it, obviously, have some nuance, but like the same kind of outfit. Create a closet, create a uniform. So yeah, like wear a uniform. Okay, coming in at number 7, learn about real estate, learn about stocks, learn about investments, learn about business principles, learn about improving your career. It is really important for you to learn what is an asset and what is a liability. This is something I got from Rich Dad Poor Dad, is figuring out what is an asset versus like what is a liability. You have to figure out the difference, because sometimes a lot of people will call things investments when that's not what the definition of an investment is. An investment, as simple as it is, something that put money in your pocket. A liability is something that costs you money. That's it. That's the rawest definition. There's always nuances. Some people rent out a car when cars are technically classified as liabilities. People classify houses as investments, but if it's not making you any money, it's not generating rent for you, you're paying for it, it is technically a liability. No, but houses appreciate. If we just go with the raw definition of an asset and a liability, use that as a guiding principle. Learn about it. Learn about the differences, learn about the subtleties, because knowledge is power. Things that you don't know is costing you the hundreds and thousands of dollars of you not knowing better. And that could be about buying a house. Question narratives. Everyone says a house is a great investment. I don't know. Go ask a bunch of people in Toronto what they think about the housing market. Housing will go up forever. And maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe I haven't like zoomed out enough. People are like, stocks risky. Okay, you have to ask yourself questions, and the only way is to get educated. So that's why I'm saying learn about it. Your mind is your greatest asset. That's something that exists in your head and something that nobody can take away from you. Somebody can break into your house and steal your stuff, but unless they lobotomize you, what's in your brain will be with you forever. Okay, and here is some women advice. This is for my female girlies, which is the majority of my viewers. I have very little men viewers, so if you're a man, you can just click out. But for my ladies, stop buying so much makeup, stop wearing so much makeup. I had actually seen this in Old Money by Byron Tully. He actually had chapter on this, and I found it really difficult to swallow this because this was coming from a man giving me advice on not wearing makeup. And I was like, I really don't agree with that. I think that makeup helps women, be a creative outlet. It's misogynistic to tell women not to wear makeup, blah, 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 blah. However, as a woman, I feel like I finally am in a position to kind of give that advice. And you have to understand, I love makeup. You can go watch on my channel, especially if you're a long-time subscriber. You guys know I absolutely adore makeup. That is like my guilty pleasure. Even in my extreme minimalism, that was the thing that I still allowed myself to have. So I can now give you that advice. You don't need to buy that much makeup. You don't need to wear that much makeup. No one's saying no makeup. That's not what this tip is. Just, you don't need that much. You really don't need that much. Less is more. And this is coming from a woman. You're gonna look better. Your bank account's gonna look better. You're not gonna have clutter. That stuff expires. It's not an asset. You can't pass it on. It's not an heirloom. You can't resell it. It's a consumable good. This is like hoarding, medicine. Like, what are we doing? It expires, it goes bad. So the advice that I can give is, even if you're a woman, and yes, I know you need to look presentable at work. Yes, I know it makes you feel cute, and we love that for us, and you can definitely do all of those things, but you really, a bag. If it cannot fit a bag, it's too much. Okay, next one, stop chasing trends. So you can either go for more classic and timeless, and if you feel like that's very like elitist, no one's saying you need to wear pearls. Just because I like pearls doesn't mean you need to wear pearls. Or you should just find your own personal style and stick with your own personal style. Wear that style for years on end, which will help cultivate who you are, what's your sense. You don't need to be following every single trend. I get that it's really fun to follow trends, and I love following trends, but it's not going to be good for your wallet, and it's really not going to be good for your self-esteem, money aside. You're going to feel like, who are you? You're just an empty vessel. You're consumerist, final boss. It's fun to have a little trend here and there, but on the whole, you should try to avoid trends. It's not going to do you any good. Figure out what's a color that you like, or several colors that you like. Figure out what are cuts that you like. Just because high-rise jean is in, low-rise jean is out, and then vice versa. Like, it's never ending. You realize that these trends come and go, especially when you get older. Like, I'm in my 30s now. I've seen enough trends come and go. What was super hot and really in the 90s was not in the 2000s. Was not in the 2010s, and now that we're in the 2020s, you cannot construct a lasting sense of sustainability and sense of self based on a rotating trend that's dictated on external factors. I understand you don't want to look dated, and that's fine. You can slowly update your wardrobe. Just on the whole, if you wear something classic and timeless and is suitable for you, you're going to feel a lot better. You're going to be able to wear it for years on end. No one's asking for you to wear it for decades, but at the very least, like, come on, not every 3 months you gotta redo your wardrobe because I don't even know plum is in. So I hope that you guys could have enjoyed the video, and I will see my little Cobra babies in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.